Good morning, third graders. Today I'm going to show you how we can practice asking questions while we read a nonfiction book. So yesterday I posted a video of me reading a fiction book. I was reading One Fine Day, and I asked a bunch of questions. So you can see on the chart behind me, here are all the questions that I asked yesterday. I asked some questions before I started reading the book, and then I asked some questions while I was reading the book, and then I still asked some questions even after I was done reading the book. The reason that we ask questions when we read is because asking questions helps us to understand the books that we are actually reading. So today, I'm going to show you how I can do that with a nonfiction book too. I don't want to make a new chart because I don't have that much paper at home. So instead, I'm going to do it on my whiteboard, but you'll still be able to see all of the questions that I write. The book that I picked today is a cool one, and it's one that I know that some of you have read already in our classroom. It's called Gemstones. So I'm pretty excited to learn all about gemstones, and I definitely have some questions even before we get started. So I'm thinking like, well, how do people get gemstones? And also, why are they so expensive? Even on the cover, it's telling me a pile of diamonds like this one would be worth $5 million. That's a lot of money, but like, why are we paying so much for diamonds? Why are they so expensive? I'm hoping the book will help me find out. Let me write down those questions before I start reading. I hope you can see my questions. It's a little bit hard to see on the whiteboard. Now, I'm going to pick a chapter and start reading. Hopefully I'll find some of the answers to my questions. All right, I'm on the table of contents now, and I'm kind of thinking that I might just start at the beginning in this book because I don't know that much about gemstones, and if I skip a chapter, then I might miss some important information. So I'm going to start with chapter 1. It's called Dazzling Diamonds and Elegant Emeralds. And then there's a question here. It says, what is the difference between a gemstone and a common rock? Oh, I feel like that's going to be useful information to me. So let me turn to page 7 and get started. Here we go. Dazzling Diamonds and Elegant Emeralds. Throughout history, gemstones have been associated with wealth and power. Royal families in many countries have owned sets of crown jewels. These jewels symbolized, I think that means represented, like it means a family's right to rule over their nation's people. Kings, queens, and emperors had crowns and scepters, or staffs, studded with gems. Some of these pieces were very elaborate. And there's some tricky words in this book, but I think I can figure it out because there's this really great picture that shows, I think she must be a queen, because look at the way that she's dressed. And then it says, Britain's crown jewels have been kept at the Tower of London since the 1300s. My goodness, that's like 700 years ago, more than 700 years ago. And actually, I've been to the Tower of London, and I saw those gems, and they are really, really cool. So let me keep reading, because I haven't really learned anything about gemstones yet, except that powerful people have them. Crystals. Most gemstones are minerals. A mineral is a natural substance, which means that humans did not create it. A mineral is solid and always has a crystal-like structure. This gives it straight edges, flat faces, and a geometric shape, such as a pyramid or a cube. That's really interesting, and there's a picture here that kind of shows what they're talking about. Like, you can see those crystals there, they kind of look like pyramids. I'm really curious, why do crystals grow into like cubes and pyramids? So I think I'm going to write that question down. This is during while I'm reading, so I'm going to put it in this box. Why do crystals grow into cubes? Let me keep reading. Crystals form deep underground and can take millions of years to grow. After being mined, rough gemstones must be cut and polished to reveal their true beauty. And then the caption for this picture says, an uncut gemstone, which must be what they have here, is called a raw gemstone. And you can see it's not like as pretty as the ones that people usually wear for jewelry and stuff. Is it a gemstone? How can a person tell if a crystal is a gemstone or just a common mineral? A crystal must pass 3 tests to be called a gemstone. Oh, that's interesting. First, it must be beautiful. It also needs to be hard. Lastly, it must be rare. A mineral might live up to 1 or 2 of these factors, but would still not be considered a valuable gemstone. I never knew that they had to be, it says beautiful, hard, and rare. And then here's the caption. Gemstones such as amylite are often found within rocks. And there's a picture of, I guess, what must be amylite. That's a pretty different kind of crystal from this one on this page. I'm gonna keep reading. A beautiful stone. Different gemstones can be considered beautiful for different reasons. For example, a diamond is considered beautiful because of its ability to refract light. Now that word is bold, so I think I'm gonna look it up in the back of the book. Refract. There has to be a glossary here. Refract. Here it is. Bend. Refract means bend, like when a ray of light enters another medium such as water or glass. So I guess refract means when you bend the light. When you look at a diamond in the sunlight, you can see all the colors of the rainbow. That's interesting. I've noticed that too before, that like sometimes if you hold up gems to the light, then you get like a rainbow behind them. I wonder how that happens. I'm gonna write that question down. Why do diamonds turn light into rainbows? Rubies, sapphires, and emeralds are prized for their clear, rich colors. They are. Rubies are red, I know. Sapphires are blue, I think. Emeralds are really pretty green. That's my favorite color. Made to last. Gemstone crystals should be very difficult to scratch. In 1812, a mineralogist named Friedrich Mohs developed a scale to rank the hardness of minerals. The diamond is at the top of the list. Not only is it the hardest gemstone, it is also the hardest substance known to humans. Wow. Rubies and sapphires are the next hardest gemstones. Topaz, quartz, and emeralds are farther down on Mohs' scale. So I guess they're not as hard as like a diamond is. Friedrich Mohs' scale is still used to analyze rocks and minerals today. And there's a picture. I guess that's him. Rare crystals. The third requirement for a gemstone is rarity. A crystal must be quite large for someone to be able to cut a gem from it. For a crystal to grow to a large size, conditions must be just right. The growing crystal needs the proper temperature, enough time, enough space, and the right materials. Because of this, crystals that are large enough to become gems are very rare in the natural world. And then there's a picture of a guy. It looks like he's taking rocks out of baskets, and there's like, it looks like there's some gemstones in his hand. Let me read the caption. A miner pans for gems, separating rare gemstones from mud and rocks. I wonder where do the miners mine? Like if I go down to the Chicago River and I collect a bunch of rocks? Am I gonna find some emeralds? Or, you know, I've never heard of people finding emeralds in Chicago. I'm gonna write that question down. Where do the miners mine? All right, I've got one more page in this chapter. Weighing gemstones. Gemologists, I think I can figure out that word because it's got ists, like scientists or people that study science, or like, well, I can't think of another example, but I bet that gemologists must be people that study gems. They have to be because it has that word gem in it. Gemologists use a special unit of measurement to describe the weight of gemstones. A carat. I've heard that word before, like 14 karat gold. A carat. Carat comes from the word carob, a kind of seed. Huh. In ancient times, gem dealers weighed their stones by comparing them to the weight of a carob seed. That's crazy. A gem that equaled the weight of one seed would be a 1 carob or 1 carat stone. This equals about, and there's some decimals here, which we haven't learned in 3rd grade. It says 0.007 ounces or 0.2 grams. There are 5 carats in a gram and 2,268 carats in a pound. Well, I remember a gram was like a bean or a noodle from our noodle jar. So there's 5 carats in a gram, which means if I had a stone that weighed as much as a noodle, then that would be a 5 carat stone. And here's a picture of carob, which is how they used to weigh the gemstones with those seeds. That's really interesting to me. All right, that's the end of my chapter. But I still have some questions, and I have like even some more new questions than I had when I started. Because I'm wondering, how many different types of gems are there? And it was talking about gems that have like different colors, but like why do they have different colors? Where do they get their colors from? So I'm going to write those questions down too. Oh, my marker is not working. Let me pick a different one. I might have to color this one in pink. How do they get their colors? How many different types of gems are there? All right, well, that's it for today. So it's your turn now. Pick a book, a nonfiction book or a fiction book, and make sure that you're asking some questions before, during, and after you read. See you tomorrow, 3rd graders.